Hey everybody, it's Coach Matt, Primal Athlete Training Center, www.primalatc.com. Just finished up a long day of training here at Primal in the hot heat. It was at some point today, it was like 96 outside, 95 outside. Figured I'd have a beautiful night to get outside and show you guys some more Javelin, but unfortunately we have a severe thunderstorm warning yet again here in Rhode Island. So, not outside, but what I've done, so you can see I cleared out a nice little path, just like I did last time. Nice little run-up where I can show you guys the next part of our Javelin training series. Now, if you checked out our series last week, what we talked about last week was how to explode into a good throw. How to bound into a good throw by getting airborne, doing that last crossover in midair, planting with a nice hard plant, and putting all of our body into it. Now the reason why we got in the air, why we kind of skipped and bounded off the ground at the end, is to get our body into full acceleration. Get our body to top speed by the end of the run-up, so we can put all that speed, all that force into the javelin. And that leads us into what we're going to talk about today. Now today it's all about the crossovers. Now crossovers are what lead us into that final movement, that explosive, that bound into the final throw that you saw last week. And crossovers are something where, I don't want to say that they're misunderstood, but crossovers sometimes are taught in a lot of different ways. We're going to show you the basic way of doing crossovers. The easiest way to teach, the basic way of doing it. Now a crossover is nothing more than simply when you are crossing over the feet. Okay? You're crossing over the feet and your body, okay, is perpendicular, I guess is the right term, to where you're going to be throwing. So if I'm eventually on the runway running up here, I'm going to turn my body sideways to my throwing direction. Okay, so I'm right-handed. That means my left side is going to be facing down the runway. My javelin is in my right hand, up nice and tall, right side's all the way back. The reason we do this is the same reason why we do the power position in the shot and in the discus. We have to close our hips, okay? And when we close our hips, that's going to give us a lot more turn, a lot more explosion. If we were just run up the javelin runway with the hand like this and throw, the hips wouldn't be able to get into it. We wouldn't be able to turn our bodies, pull with the left. We would just simply be running and basically doing a drill. We need to get our entire body into it. So we turn, okay, away from the throwing area, and we are able to get a lot more torque and a lot more snap into the throw. So we want to talk about crossovers. Now, crossovers, a lot of people like to go all the way to the side. So if you're throwing towards 12 o'clock, a lot of people like to face their feet all the way to 3 o'clock. Okay? That's one way of doing it. That's the way that I learned way back in the day. That's the way a lot of people still teach, and there's nothing wrong with that way of teaching. Some people like to have the feet facing almost all the way forward, okay? Almost to like the 1 o'clock position. Simply hold the javelin and run forward. And is this right? Is this wrong? What I like to say is it's going to help the athlete run a lot faster because the feet are facing forward. But the negative, the downside, is that you're not going to be able to get all the way back. The way I teach is somewhere in the middle, okay? I like to have the feet pointed more towards 2 o'clock. So not right down the middle, not at 3 o'clock, somewhere right around 2 o'clock. So the feet are going to be staggered just a little bit. And it's the best of both worlds. It allows you to keep the javelin all the way back, but it also isn't as cumbersome. It's not as clumsy as when you're just stepping over the foot. You're able to run a lot faster, you're still doing the crossovers. The feet aren't all the way forward, but they're not all the way to the side either. Now when you're doing your crossovers, what we have to talk about is acceleration. Acceleration is something that needs to be actively taught. There needs to be time spent teaching this to young javelin throwers. It's the same way that you would teach a long jumper It's the same way that you would teach a triple jumper or a pole vaulter. You need to accelerate. If you just start at one end of the runway and run like a bat out of hell, run as fast as you possibly can, if you hit your top speed by the second or third step, there's nowhere to go but down. Okay, that usually means that you're slowing down towards the end. You're just trying to get under control at the very end because you're all out of place and out of sorts and going way too fast early on. I always equate it to a plane taking off. A plane taking off starts out slow, accelerates down the runway, hits its top speed, and the plane goes off in the air. You have to think about that when you're doing your throws in the javelin. You need to accelerate. It doesn't matter, I don't teach specific steps as far as step count. I don't teach that there's a wrong way or a right way or a wrong amount or a right amount of crossovers. Most of my athletes do 4 or 5. Some of them do 3. It just feels better for them. But you have to make sure that you accelerate. So the way that you teach the acceleration is by getting on the track or by getting on a big grass field and having people do crossover, trying to accelerate on every single step. By doing this, you teach them gears or speeds, the same way that you have speeds on a bicycle, the same way that you have gears in a car. So you want them on every time that they cross over, you want them to accelerate. Now the drill I like to do is running 10 steps, okay? 10 steps or 10 left feet where you're just accelerating each time. So each time you're getting faster, faster, faster. The first one, the second, third, you're moving as fast as you possibly can, and you're accelerating on each one. So by the 10th step, you've reached your top speed. Basically teaching you how to have 10 speeds, like an old 10-speed bicycle. The reason for this has to deal with when you do your full approach. When you do your full approach, you never want there to be turbulence, okay? You never want there to be stopping and going. You want the javelin to just cruise along, accelerate, and take off just like an airplane. So, for that reason, we have to teach you how to accelerate. A lot of times what happens, and what I'll see, is an athlete will accelerate while they're running up the runway, hit their top speed, go into the crossovers. When they go into the crossovers, they slow down, and then they try to accelerate through the crossover. It needs to be a natural running pattern of acceleration. The only way you can teach this, take the javelin, get it out of your hand. Notice I don't have one with me today. Get the javelin out of your hand, work on the crossovers, work on the acceleration, get your throwers, get your javelin guys on the track. There's an old joke that javelin throwers are nothing more than sprinters with a spear, or sprinters with a stick. It's very true, okay? I'm the last guy to tell you that throwers should be out there running long distances, that throwers should be out there running laps around the track, but your javelin throwers need to know how to sprint. Short distances, they need to know how to accelerate, and they need to know how to run with proper running movements. Guys, Coach Matt signing off here from Primal ATC, Primal Athlete Training Center. Gonna cut 2 more videos for you tonight. These videos are gonna appear Wednesday at primalatc.com and Thursday at primalatc.com. We're gonna wrap everything up by Thursday. So tomorrow's video is gonna talk about the initial running up. Thursday's video is gonna put everything together and actually explain to you guys the full throw with the run up and help hopefully answer a lot more of your questions. Now, if you have specific questions on any throwing event, discus, shot, javelin, hammer, indoor weight, any throwing event, you have to make sure that you let me know about it, okay? The way you do that is you go to Facebook. You search out Primal Athlete Training Center on Facebook. You're going to see the logo. It's the same logo that pops up before all these videos. It's the same logo that pops up on the top of our website. Click the like button, and then you can leave questions right on our website. You can leave questions on the wall. Other people that check out Primal ATC's Facebook page can help answer. I can chime in and answer as much as I possibly can. And we can really start to create an online hub where people can come on a day-to-day basis, okay, where people can get their questions answered and they can improve their throws very, very quickly. Guys, thanks so much for checking out these videos. We hope to see you back here soon, and make sure you ask those questions.